Hey friends, and welcome. We're AfraRugs, and we believe that a rug isn't just something you walk on. No, it's so much more. It's culture, it's history, and it's pure style, all rolled into one. Today, we're diving into something really special, the incredible world of vintage Persian rugs. So let me ask you this. What if your floor could actually tell a story? I'm not just talking about covering a space. I mean a real narrative, woven with the decades of history, artistry, and a character that is completely unique. To really get what makes these pieces so amazing, we first have to figure out what gives a vintage Persian rug its legendary status. So what exactly does vintage even mean when we're talking about rugs? Well, it all comes down to a very specific period of time. A true vintage Persian rug is a hand-knotted piece made in Persia, which we know as modern-day Iran, specifically between the 1920s and the 1970s. And believe me, this 50-year window wasn't just random. It was a really remarkable era for this art form. This timeline really helps put it all into perspective. You've got modern rugs made today, and then you have antiques, which are over 100 years old. Vintage rugs, they sit right in that perfect sweet spot, you know? They bridge that classic, old-world charm with a timeless look that feels surprisingly fresh and current. Okay, so how do you spot a real vintage gem? Well, there are a few key hallmarks to look for. First, authenticity of origin. We're talking renowned weaving centers like Tabriz or Kashan. Then, natural dyes, made from plants and minerals, which create these beautiful, subtle colors that just get better with age. Of course, there's the hand-knotted construction. Every single knot was tied by an artisan. That gives it such a human touch. Over time, it develops this distinctive patina, a soft, beautiful luster from years of life. And finally, you have the cultural motifs and just incredible material quality, usually wool or silk, that all come together to tell its story. And that really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? Every single piece tells its own story through its patterns, the specific shades of its dyes, and that special character that, honestly, only time can create. So let's talk a little more about that magic ingredient. Time itself. How exactly does age transform a beautiful object into a true masterpiece of character? Look, a new rug is beautiful, no doubt, but its colors are often very uniform and the fibers can feel a little stiff. A vintage rug, on the other hand, well, it's developed that subtle patina, this soft, mellowed look to its colors, and its wool or silk fibers have become unbelievably soft over the decades. It's this lived-in beauty that you just can't fake. You know, owning one of these is really like being the caretaker of a piece of art. It requires a gentle touch. It's all about respecting the history that's woven right into its fibers. You know, rotating it for even wear, using a gentle, low suction vacuum, and definitely keeping it out of direct sunlight to protect those gorgeous natural dyes. So the big question is, how did these historical treasures actually fit into our modern homes? Well, their versatility is honestly one of their most amazing qualities. Think about a really clean, minimalist room. A vintage rug adds that perfect layer of warmth and texture. It introduces a sense of history, a bit of soul, and it stops the space from feeling too cold or sterile. Or maybe your style is more eclectic, a little bohemian. A vintage Persian rug can be the perfect anchor piece. It has this incredible ability to tie together all sorts of different global accents, plants, and textures, creating a space that feels curated and deeply personal. And I love this one. In a modern industrial loft, the softness of a faded floral rug creates this stunning contrast against hard surfaces like exposed brick, concrete, and metal. It's this beautiful dance between hard and soft, old and new. Now, all this talk about these incredible styles might have you wanting to find one for your own home. Well, you can check out all of these designs and more on our website, afrarugs.com. And for a limited time, you can use the code AFRAPOD10 to save on your favorite rug. You see, when you choose a vintage rug, you're not just buying another object for your house. You're really becoming the next custodian of a little piece of history. So, if you're on the hunt, what should you actually look for? Well, things like provenance documentation can help confirm a rug's origin. Knot density is a huge indicator of quality. A higher count usually means a finer, more detailed pattern. You'll also want to look at its condition. And of course, think about the pattern and colors that really speak to you and your space. At the end of the day, this is so much more than just decorating. It's a way more personal decision. It's about choosing a piece of art, a piece of history, a story that you're going to live with every single day. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What story do you want your home to tell? Thanks so much for joining me today.